What if I told you that the moment you let go of everything, the people, the possessions, the plans you've clung to for years, is the moment your life truly begins? This isn't just about giving up what you love. It's about surrendering everything for the one who created you. In a world that tells you to hold on, Allah asks you to release, to trust, to step into the unknown. It's in this act of complete submission that the greatest transformations happen. The most powerful journeys aren't those where we accumulate more. They are those where we leave behind everything that weighs us down. Are you ready to break free from the chains of worldly attachment and walk the path that leads to eternal freedom? Your journey begins now, but only when you leave everything for Allah. 1. True strength lies in complete vulnerability before Allah. In our modern world, strength is often associated with self-reliance. We are taught to be independent, to have control over every aspect of our lives, and to present ourselves as invincible. From the way we approach our careers to the way we manage our relationships, we believe that strength is about standing tall, handling challenges on our own, and never showing signs of weakness. But what if I told you that the true measure of strength comes from being completely vulnerable before Allah? True strength doesn't come from trying to control every situation or from protecting ourselves from vulnerability. In fact, the real power lies in surrendering everything we think we control to Allah. It's about letting go of the illusion that we are in charge of our lives and acknowledging our dependence on Him. This act of surrender is not about weakness. It's the beginning of a deeper and more profound strength, one that is rooted in faith and trust. When we surrender to Allah, we are not admitting defeat, but rather, we are embracing the truth that we, as human beings, are limited. We don't have the power to control everything, and there are countless aspects of life that are beyond our understanding. This realization doesn't weaken us. Instead, it opens the door to true freedom. By releasing our attachment to control, we free ourselves from the burden of always having to figure everything out on our own. It is in this moment of surrender that we allow ourselves to be fully vulnerable before Allah, acknowledging that our hearts and minds are open to His divine guidance. Surrendering everything to Allah is a powerful act of defiance against the ego. The ego constantly pushes us to prove ourselves, to seek validation, and to compare our worth with others. But when we stop trying to prove that we are enough on our own and simply submit to Allah, we remove the veil that hides our true strength. By giving up the need to control and surrendering our will to Allah, we invite an immense divine power into our lives. This power is not found in our ability to control, but in our willingness to trust and yield to something greater than ourselves. This vulnerability before Allah is not a sign of weakness, rather, it is a pathway to transformation. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open our hearts to Allah's mercy and grace. In that space, our weaknesses become the foundation for true strength. We no longer rely on our limited abilities or our fleeting desires to define us. Instead, we draw strength from the One who is all-knowing, all-powerful, and infinitely merciful. Through vulnerability, we are transformed. The more we surrender to Allah, the more we realize that our weaknesses are not obstacles to be ashamed of, but rather opportunities to grow closer to Him. In those moments when we feel helpless or uncertain, Allah's strength fills the gaps, and we become stronger in ways that transcend the physical and mental limits we once believed defined us. True strength comes from trusting Allah completely, from acknowledging that, in our vulnerability, we are fully supported and never alone. It is in this surrender that we find our greatest power, the power of faith, trust, and submission to Allah's will. 2. Surrendering to Allah unlocks a higher state of consciousness. In today's world, we often define success and fulfillment by what we can see, touch, and control. Our achievements, possessions, and status are markers that society uses to measure how far we've come in life. But what if the most profound success lies not in what we accumulate, but in what we let go of? What if the true purpose of life isn't to chase after worldly desires, but to free ourselves from them? This is exactly what happens when you surrender everything to Allah. It unlocks a higher state of consciousness that transforms the way you see the world, yourself, and your purpose. When you leave everything behind for the sake of Allah, you are not just abandoning material things. You are shifting your focus from the transient to the eternal. The world around us is full of distractions, constant noise, pressure, and endless desires that demand our attention. These distractions cloud our judgment, diminish our clarity, and often lead us to chase things that will never bring us lasting peace. But when you surrender to Allah, you consciously choose to free yourself from this noise, allowing you to see with clearer eyes. This spiritual surrender is a form of awakening that elevates your awareness beyond the physical realm. This higher state of consciousness allows you to rise above the chaos of life. You begin to see the world not through the lens of personal gain, competition, or ego-driven desires, but through the lens of divine wisdom. You understand that everything you have, everything you experience, and everyone you meet is part of a larger divine plan. Life no longer feels like a series of random events or struggles, but a purposeful journey guided by Allah. This shift in perspective brings a sense of peace and clarity that no material success can offer. When you let go of worldly attachments, you begin to feel a profound sense of contentment that transcends circumstances. True fulfillment is not found in external achievements, but in the peace that comes from knowing you are living in alignment with Allah's will. This realization takes you to a place of spiritual maturity, where you start to feel that your purpose isn't tied to what you can gain from this world, but rather to what you can give and how you can serve Allah. This sense of fulfillment comes not from attaining things, but from being at peace with what Allah has already ordained for you. Surrendering to Allah's will allows you to experience a deeper connection to your own soul. As you release the need to control every aspect of your life, you open yourself to Allah's guidance, which provides a sense of direction and meaning in everything you do. You begin to recognize the beauty in the simplest moments and find joy in the small blessings that you may have once overlooked. The stress, the confusion, and the anxiety that once dominated your life fade away as you develop a deeper trust in Allah's plan. This higher consciousness isn't just a fleeting experience, it becomes your new way of seeing the world. Once you've tasted the clarity and peace that comes from surrendering to Allah, nothing else can compare. The things that once seemed so important, such as wealth, status, and personal achievements, no longer hold the same value. You realize that true success is living a life of purpose, a life led by divine guidance and filled with faith. The more you surrender, the more you realize that what you've gained in terms of spiritual peace and understanding far outweighs anything the material world can offer. Surrendering to Allah doesn't just change your perspective, it transforms your very being. It elevates your consciousness and opens the door to a life of profound peace, clarity, and purpose. The journey of letting go and submitting to Allah is not just about spiritual growth. It's about experiencing life in its truest, most beautiful form. It's about seeing the world with new eyes, feeling deeply connected to everything around you, and knowing that your life is part of something far greater than you could ever imagine. 3. the power of self-transformation through detachment. In our fast-paced, material-driven world, it's easy to become attached to things, whether it's our possessions, our relationships, or even our identity. We often define ourselves by what we have, who we know, or what we've achieved. But what if true transformation isn't about acquiring more, but about letting go? When you surrender everything for the sake of Allah, you embark on a journey of self-transformation that goes beyond mere change. It's a complete spiritual metamorphosis. Detachment, in its purest form, isn't about abandoning the world or withdrawing from responsibilities. Rather, it's about releasing your emotional and mental attachment to the transient aspects of life. When you detach, you stop allowing the fleeting things of this world to control your peace, your happiness, or your sense of self-worth. You begin to recognize that material possessions, status, and external validation are all temporary, and that true fulfillment comes from something far deeper, your connection with Allah. One of the most profound shifts that occurs when you detach for the sake of Allah is the liberation from the constant pursuit of worldly desires. We often chase after things like money, fame, and success because we believe they will bring us happiness and security. Yet, the more we pursue these external things, the emptier we often feel. Detachment breaks this cycle. By letting go of your attachment to worldly gains, you free yourself from the chains of endless desires and open the door to lasting peace. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about the world or the people in it. It means you shift your focus from seeking validation and fulfillment through worldly things to seeking it through your relationship with Allah. This shift is incredibly liberating. You begin to realize that the things you once thought were essential for happiness are, in reality, fleeting and unreliable. No amount of wealth, status, or accolades can provide the sense of contentment and peace that comes from being at peace with Allah's will. This process of detachment brings you closer to your authentic self. When you stop defining yourself by your possessions, accomplishments, or the approval of others, you begin to reconnect with the essence of who you truly are. You discover that your worth is not tied to external achievements, but to your inner connection with Allah. This is the power of self-transformation through detachment. You are no longer bound by societal standards, expectations, or the need to constantly prove yourself. Instead, you begin to live a life that is aligned with your true purpose, pleasing Allah and fulfilling your divine potential. As you continue to detach from worldly distractions, your heart becomes more attuned to the divine. You begin to see the beauty and simplicity and find joy in the smallest of blessings. The pursuit of external success and validation loses its grip on you, and you start to experience a deeper sense of fulfillment that comes from within. True transformation occurs when you stop looking outward for happiness and start looking inward towards your relationship with Allah. This detachment enables you to respond to life's challenges with greater wisdom and serenity. When you are no longer attached to the outcome of events, you can face trials with a sense of peace, knowing that they are part of Allah's divine plan. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring or stop working hard. It means you accept the results with grace, trusting that whatever happens is for your ultimate good. You no longer tie your happiness to specific outcomes, but rather, you place your trust in Allah's perfect wisdom. Through detachment, you unlock the true power of self-transformation. You stop being a prisoner to your desires, fears, and attachments, and begin to live a life of purpose, peace, and spiritual fulfillment. This transformation is not about rejecting the world, but about mastering your inner self so that you can engage with the world in a way that is authentic, balanced, and aligned with your higher purpose. When you detach for the sake of Allah, you move from a place of constant striving to a place of inner peace and divine connection, where every action becomes an opportunity to grow closer to Him. The true power of self-transformation lies in the ability to detach from the superficial and embrace the eternal. By surrendering your attachments to Allah, you discover a deeper sense of who you are and a peace that transcends all worldly concerns. 4. Sacrifice for Allah turns pain into purpose. In life, we are all bound to face challenges. Pain, loss, and hardship are inevitable parts of the human experience. But what if I told you that the moments of suffering, when surrendered to Allah, can be transformed into something greater than just discomfort? What if these trials, when faced with faith, could become the very catalysts for spiritual growth and purpose? This is the power of sacrifice for the sake of Allah. When you leave everything behind for Him, you gain the ability to see pain not as a burden, but as an opportunity for deeper meaning and connection. Sacrifice, in its truest sense, is not merely about giving up material things. It's about offering a part of your soul to Allah. When you face hardship and choose to endure it with patience and trust in Allah's plan, you are making a sacrifice that goes beyond the surface. You are choosing to forego your immediate comfort, desires, and perhaps even your understanding of why things happen, to trust that Allah's wisdom is greater than anything you can comprehend. The beauty of sacrifice for Allah is that it has the power to transform even the most painful experiences into meaningful ones. What appears to be an overwhelming trial in your life, a loss, a disappointment, a personal struggle, can be seen through the lens of divine purpose when you surrender it to Allah. Pain is not wasted when it is given to Allah, because He turns it into something that contributes to your spiritual growth and eventual reward. Each struggle you face, each sacrifice you make, is an opportunity for Allah to refine your soul, to purify your heart, and to elevate your faith. When we hold on to the idea that pain is something to avoid at all costs, we miss the deeper lesson behind it. Many people spend their lives trying to escape discomfort, seeking constant pleasure or avoiding difficulties. But by doing so, they miss the incredible opportunity that sacrifice offers. When you make the choice to endure pain for the sake of Allah, you invite a deeper sense of peace into your heart, because you know that your pain has a purpose beyond your immediate understanding. This process of turning pain into purpose is not only about gaining rewards in the hereafter. It also has a transformative impact on your heart and mind in this life. Every time you choose to endure hardship with faith, you strengthen your relationship with Allah. You begin to realize that the trials you face are not obstacles, but stepping stones that lead you to a closer bond with Him. Pain, when endured with patience and trust, brings you closer to Allah's mercy and deeper into His light. You begin to see that nothing is wasted in the eyes of Allah. Every tear, every moment of distress is seen by Him and is an opportunity for divine connection and spiritual elevation. Additionally, the act of sacrifice deepens your empathy and compassion for others. When you go through your own struggles, you develop a greater understanding of the pain others may be experiencing. This compassion becomes a tool for service, allowing you to better support others on their journeys and to be a source of comfort and strength for those who are suffering. Through your own pain, you become a source of healing for others, demonstrating the power of sacrifice and surrender for Allah's sake. It's important to note that sacrifice doesn't mean seeking out pain or discomfort for its own sake. Allah does not desire us to hurt or harm ourselves. Rather, it means surrendering your pain to Him, choosing to trust in His wisdom, and allowing Him to turn that pain into a powerful tool for spiritual growth. Sacrifice is not about suffering in silence. It's about offering that suffering to Allah, trusting that He will guide you through it and transform it into something greater. Sacrifice for Allah turns every pain into an opportunity to draw closer to Him. It allows you to see the divine wisdom behind every trial and helps you find purpose even in the most difficult moments. Through sacrifice, pain becomes a pathway to growth, compassion, and, most importantly, a deeper connection with Allah. You learn that no struggle is ever wasted, and that through every hardship, you are being refined, strengthened, and prepared for greater rewards, both in this life and the hereafter. Sacrifice for the sake of Allah is the key to turning your pain into a purposeful journey, leading you closer to the divine. 5. The beauty of dependence on Allah. In a society that emphasizes self-sufficiency and independence, the idea of being dependent on someone, let alone on Allah, can seem counterintuitive. We are taught to be strong, to rely on ourselves, and to never show weakness. But in reality, true strength lies in recognizing our dependence on Allah, the one who holds the entire universe in His hands. When you leave everything behind for the sake of Allah, you embrace the beauty of dependence on Him. A dependence that is not a sign of weakness, but a profound recognition of His supreme power, mercy, and wisdom. Dependence on Allah is not about helplessness or being passive. It's about acknowledging that, despite our best efforts, there are things in life we cannot control. No matter how hard we try, we cannot guarantee our own success, health, or happiness without Allah's will. This realization doesn't diminish us. It elevates our understanding of who we truly are in relation to the Creator. We are not masters of our own fate. Allah is. And once we accept this truth, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of peace, trust, and comfort in knowing that Allah is always with us, guiding us, and providing for us in ways we may not even see. The beauty of dependence on Allah is that it frees us from the burden of trying to control every aspect of our lives. We often struggle, striving endlessly to shape our futures, to manage our fears, and to meet every expectation. But when we depend on Allah, we surrender that need for control. We trust that whatever happens, it is part of a greater plan that is beyond our understanding, and that whatever we face, He will guide us through it. This dependence on Allah brings a sense of relief. We no longer have to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, because we trust that Allah is always in control, and He will never abandon us. When you depend on Allah, you experience a sense of comfort that no worldly possession or achievement can provide. We spend much of our lives seeking security in things, our careers, our finances, our relationships. But these things are fleeting. True security is found in our dependence on Allah, who is eternal and unchanging. When we place our trust in Him, we are anchored in a source of peace that is immune to the fluctuations of the material world. This deep reliance on Allah allows us to face life's challenges with confidence and tranquility, knowing that He is always there to support us. There is also immense power in realizing that our dependence on Allah is not a sign of weakness, but a form of strength. When we acknowledge our dependence on Allah, we are choosing to rely on the One who is most powerful and most merciful. This act of trust in Allah's wisdom and grace takes us beyond the superficial and into a place of spiritual power. Our dependence on Allah leads to inner strength, as it allows us to surrender the weight of our burdens and to fully trust in His divine will. This strength is not rooted in our own capabilities, but in the infinite power of Allah, who provides for us in ways we cannot even imagine. When we depend on Allah, we cultivate a deeper sense of humility. In a world that promotes self-reliance and individualism, dependence on Allah reminds us of our own limitations and the importance of relying on something greater than ourselves. This humility frees us from pride and arrogance, making our hearts open to Allah's guidance. We no longer see ourselves as the sole architects of our lives, but as humble servants of the Creator, willing to accept His will with gratitude and trust. Dependence on Allah also fosters a sense of gratitude. When we recognize that everything we have, our health, wealth, relationships, and even our breath, comes from Allah, we develop a deeper sense of appreciation for the countless blessings in our lives. This gratitude transforms the way we live. We become more mindful of the blessings Allah has given us, and we approach each day with a heart filled with thankfulness for His mercy and provision. The beauty of dependence on Allah is that it brings us peace, humility, strength, and a deep sense of security. It reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles, that Allah is always with us, guiding us, supporting us, and carrying us through every challenge. By surrendering our need for control and placing our trust in Allah, we unlock a profound inner peace that allows us to navigate life with grace, confidence, and unwavering faith. True strength comes not from self-reliance, but from placing our complete dependence on Allah, knowing that He is always there, watching over us and taking care of our needs. 6. When you leave everything for Allah, you gain the world. In our society, the idea of gaining the world is often synonymous with accumulating wealth, fame, and power. We are conditioned to believe that success and happiness lie in what we possess and achieve. But the reality is that true success is not found in worldly possessions or status. It's found in something far more profound: the peace and fulfillment that come from surrendering everything for the sake of Allah. When you leave everything behind for Allah, you are not losing anything. Rather, you are gaining everything that truly matters. The material world is fleeting, and its rewards are temporary. No matter how much wealth, status, or recognition you acquire, you can never truly satisfy the deeper longing of your soul. But when you let go of worldly attachments and place your trust in Allah, you gain something eternal, a connection with the Creator that brings lasting peace and joy. This is the beauty of surrendering everything for Allah. The more you give up in the name of faith, the more you receive from Him. Allah promises that when you prioritize Him above all else, He will provide for you in ways you cannot imagine. In fact, the more you release your hold on the temporary, the more you open yourself to receiving the eternal rewards that only He can offer. By giving up what is temporary, you gain what is eternal. The act of surrendering to Allah doesn't mean you abandon your responsibilities, dreams, or desires. It means you no longer allow these things to control your life or dictate your happiness. When you put your trust in Allah and leave everything for Him, you free yourself from the pressures of the world. No longer do you need to constantly chase after success, wealth, or validation. Instead, you are guided by a higher purpose, one that aligns with Allah's will. You realize that your true success lies not in what you acquire, but in how you live, according to the divine guidance of Allah. This process of surrender doesn't only affect your spiritual life, it transforms your entire outlook on the world. When you leave everything behind for the sake of Allah, you gain a deeper sense of gratitude, contentment, and peace that cannot be found in material possessions. The things that once seemed so important, the latest gadgets, the biggest house, the most prestigious job, no longer hold the same value. You begin to see life through a different lens, one that is shaped by your relationship with Allah. You understand that these worldly things are fleeting and that true happiness comes from a heart that is content with Allah's provisions. When you leave everything for Allah, you gain something far more valuable than material wealth, the richness of the heart and soul. You experience a peace that no money, no status, and no achievement can provide. This inner peace transcends all the external circumstances of life. Whether you are facing challenges or enjoying blessings, you learn to find contentment in your relationship with Allah. You realize that no matter what happens in this world, you are connected to a source of infinite mercy and love, and that is all you need to be truly fulfilled. When you prioritize Allah above all else, you gain a deeper connection with others. Your relationships with people become more genuine and meaningful, because you are no longer seeking validation or approval from them. Instead, you see others as fellow travelers on the path of life, and you approach them with compassion, humility, and a desire to serve. Your actions are no longer driven by personal gain, but by the desire to please Allah and make a positive impact in the world. This shift in perspective allows you to build stronger, more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and shared faith. When you leave everything for Allah, you gain the ultimate reward, the promise of eternal happiness in the hereafter. The sacrifices you make in this life, the challenges you endure, and the faith you place in Allah will be rewarded in ways you cannot fully comprehend. Allah has promised that those who follow His guidance and trust in His plan will be rewarded with a life that is filled with eternal peace and joy. By leaving everything for Allah, you gain not only a fulfilled life in this world, but also an everlasting reward in the hereafter. Leaving everything behind for the sake of Allah doesn't mean losing anything. It means gaining everything that truly matters. When you surrender your attachments to the fleeting aspects of this world, you open yourself to receiving the eternal peace, joy, and fulfillment that come from a deep and trusting relationship with Allah. This is the true success, the success that transcends the material and leads to a life of meaning, purpose, and ultimate reward. 7. Leaving everything for Allah leads to ultimate liberation. In a world where we are constantly striving for more wealth, more recognition, more possessions, it's easy to become trapped in the cycle of desire and accumulation. We often believe that freedom comes from having the power to do whatever we want, to be independent and self-sufficient. But what if the true path to freedom lies in the exact opposite, in surrendering everything to Allah? When you leave everything behind for the sake of Allah, you experience the ultimate form of liberation. This liberation isn't about rejecting the world, it's about freeing yourself from the shackles of attachment, fear, and ego, and embracing a life that is guided by divine purpose. True freedom isn't about what you can acquire, it's about what you can release. In the pursuit of worldly things, we become slaves to them. Our desires dictate our actions, our fears drive our decisions, and our egos fuel our need for approval. We are often so consumed by the pursuit of success, wealth, and status that we forget what true freedom feels like. But when you surrender everything to Allah, you release yourself from this never-ending cycle of craving and striving. You become free from the need to constantly chase after things that will never bring you lasting peace. True freedom is found in letting go of the illusion that your happiness depends on the things you can accumulate, and recognizing that it is only through Allah's will that you can truly be at peace. When you leave everything behind for Allah, you find a deeper sense of liberation in your heart. You no longer measure your worth by how much you have or how successful you are. Your sense of self is no longer defined by external factors, but by your connection with Allah. This is the ultimate liberation, the freedom from the tyranny of the ego and the false sense of self-worth that comes from worldly achievements. When you let go of the need for validation from others and place your trust entirely in Allah, you are liberated from the fear of judgment and the anxiety that comes with trying to meet external expectations. This liberation also extends to your heart and mind. When you leave everything behind for Allah, you free yourself from the weight of worry and stress. You stop obsessing over the future or regretting the past, because you know that everything is in Allah's hands. The uncertainty of life no longer feels overwhelming because you trust in the divine wisdom that governs it. By surrendering to Allah, you release the constant mental burden of needing to control everything, and instead, you adopt a mindset of peace and acceptance. You know that whatever comes your way, whether it's a challenge or a blessing, is part of Allah's perfect plan, and you find comfort in that knowledge. Leaving everything behind for Allah brings liberation from your own fears and limitations. As humans, we are often paralyzed by fear, the fear of failure, the fear of not being enough, the fear of loss. These fears hold us back from living fully, from stepping into the person we were meant to be. But when you surrender to Allah, you no longer need to be afraid. You understand that Allah is the best of planners and that whatever happens, He is there with you, guiding you through every difficulty. With this deep trust, the fear that once held you back is replaced by courage and resilience. You are liberated from the limitations that your fears imposed on you, and you find the strength to face life with confidence and grace. True liberation also means freedom from the constant desire to prove yourself to others. In a world where comparison is rampant and success is often measured by how we stack up against others, it's easy to feel like we are never enough. But when you leave everything for Allah, you stop living for others' approval. You no longer measure your success based on how others see you, but based on how Allah sees you. You realize that your worth is not tied to social status, wealth, or achievements. It is rooted in your sincerity to Allah, your devotion to Him, and your efforts to live a life that pleases Him. This shift in perspective frees you from the constant need for external validation and allows you to live authentically in alignment with your true purpose. Leaving everything for Allah leads to liberation from the fear of death and the unknown. One of the most powerful aspects of surrendering to Allah is that it frees you from the fear of what lies beyond this life. When you place your trust in Allah and live according to His will, you know that your life is in His hands and that He has written every moment with wisdom and care. The fear of death, which often haunts many of us, loses its grip because you know that your ultimate return is to Allah. You live with the assurance that no matter what happens in this world, you will find peace in the hereafter, in the presence of your Creator. Surrendering to Allah and leaving everything behind is not a loss. It is the key to ultimate liberation. When you release your attachment to the world, you are set free from the chains that bind you: fear, ego, insecurity, and the endless pursuit of fleeting desires. You open yourself to the freedom that comes from living in alignment with Allah's will, a freedom that brings peace to your heart, clarity to your mind, and purpose to your life. True freedom is not found in what you have or what you achieve. It is found in surrendering everything to Allah. When you do this, you unlock a freedom that transcends this world and leads to eternal peace and joy in the hereafter. This liberation is the ultimate reward of leaving everything for the sake of Allah, and it is a freedom that no one can take away. The journey of leaving everything for the sake of Allah is not a path of loss. It is a path of profound gain of peace, purpose, and a deeper connection with the Creator. Every step you take towards surrendering your attachments, desires, and fears brings you closer to the ultimate freedom and fulfillment that only Allah can provide. True strength is found in vulnerability before Allah, true clarity in surrendering to His divine wisdom, and true peace in trusting His plan for your life. When you choose to leave everything behind for Allah, you unlock a deeper sense of spiritual liberation. You no longer live for the approval of others, nor do you measure your success by worldly standards. Instead, you live with a heart full of gratitude, contentment, and trust in the one who is the best of planners. Your trials become opportunities for growth. Your weaknesses transform into sources of strength, and your entire perspective on life shifts from seeking temporary pleasures to embracing eternal purpose. Leaving everything for Allah doesn't mean abandoning life. It means fully embracing life with a heart centered on His will. It's a life of ultimate freedom, where the weight of fear, ego, and worldly attachments no longer controls you. Instead, you are guided by divine wisdom, filled with the peace of knowing that every moment, every struggle, and every success is part of Allah's perfect plan for you. As you continue your journey, remember that nothing you give up for the sake of Allah will ever be in vain. Each sacrifice, each act of surrender, and each step closer to Him leads to an eternal reward, both in this world and the hereafter. Trust in Allah's plan, let go of the things that weigh you down, and experience the freedom that comes from living in full submission to Him. May Allah guide us all on this beautiful journey of surrender, grant us the strength to leave everything for His sake, and bless us with His eternal peace. Ameen.